Listen closely. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about being enough is wrong? That love is not something you earn by fixing every flaw or becoming someone you are not? What if love could find you exactly as you are, in your mess, your doubts, your quiet insecurities? We spend our lives trying to be perfect, afraid that the cracks in us will make us unworthy. But what if those cracks are not the end of the story? What if they are the very places where love enters? I know it's hard to believe, but there is a love that doesn't require you to be anyone other than yourself. A love that embraces your flaws and imperfections. A love that sees your worthiness. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes we will explore a different kind of love, one that is not built on flawless masks, but on truth, presence, and the courage to be real. A love that is real. They tell us we must become flawless before we deserve love. We must fix every crack, polish every flaw, and silence every weakness. But the Stoics knew this was a dangerous illusion. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Perfection, he would argue, is not the absence of mistakes. It is the harmony between who we are and how we live. To chase a perfect self is to chase a horizon. It moves further away the more we run toward it. In the quiet of the morning, when the world is still asleep, we often see our imperfections more clearly. We replay moments we wish we had handled differently. We think of the words we shouldn't have said, and in those moments we forget that love, true love, has never been built on flawless performances. Love is built on presence, on showing up, even with our broken edges. Epictetus taught that the world will always test us, and it is in those trials that we discover who we are. But he never said we must pass every test without error. The Stoic path is not about becoming untouchable. It is about becoming unshakable. The difference is profound. It's untouchable demands perfection. It's unshakable demands acceptance. Acceptance of our own humanity. Modern psychology echoes this ancient wisdom. Research shows that people form deeper bonds when they see each other's vulnerability. The pratfall effect tells us that a small mistake can make someone more likable, more relatable, more human. We are drawn to those who remind us we don't have to be flawless to be worthy. Perfection might impress us, but imperfection connects us. The problem is, we live in a culture obsessed with filters, not just on photos, but on our entire selves. Social media rewards polished images, carefully crafted captions, curated moments that erase the messiness of real life. And so we begin to believe that our unfiltered selves are unworthy. But the Stoics would call this a dangerous distortion. You cannot love life if you are constantly at war with yourself. True love, from others and from ourselves, begins when we stop performing and start existing, when we can say, "This is me. I am learning, I am flawed, and I am enough for this moment." Stoicism reminds us that external approval is fleeting, but inner acceptance is eternal. And only from that place can love truly grow. So before we can be loved, we must understand this. We are not loved because we are perfect. We're loved because we are real. The cracks in our walls are not signs of weakness, but proof that the light has entered. And if we dare to stand in that light, without covering the scars, we might finally see love has been here all along. Before we can receive love, we must first stand in the quiet truth of accepting ourselves. Not the version we wish we could be, not the version the world expects, but the version that exists, here, now, as Marcus Aurelius wrote. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. He never said, "When you are flawless, it is a privilege to live." He simply meant life itself is reason enough. Self-acceptance is not about ignoring our flaws. It is about seeing them, understanding them, and choosing not to let them define our worth. It is about living with our imperfections instead of living in fear of them. Seneca once reminded us that a gem cannot be polished without friction, and a person cannot be perfected without trials. The cracks in our being are not curses. They are the proof that we have lived, that we have endured. In modern psychology, self-acceptance is linked to greater resilience and deeper connections with others. Those who embrace their own imperfections are more forgiving, more empathetic, and more open to love. Because when you are not constantly guarding your image, you can finally open the door to genuine connection. And here lies the paradox. The more we hide our flaws, the more we push people away. The more we reveal our true selves, the more love we allow in. To accept yourself is to set the terms for how the world will love you. So look at yourself today, not as a project to be fixed, but as a life to be lived. You are not a problem waiting for a solution. You're a human being in motion, learning, changing, growing. And if you can learn to say with steady breath, "I am worthy of love, even as I am," then you have already built the strongest foundation any heart could stand on. The world often teaches us to hide our wounds, to cover our fears, and to present only the strongest version of ourselves. But the Stoics remind us that pretending to be invincible is not strength. True strength is the courage to be seen as we are, as Marcus Aurelius wrote. If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. To live this way is to allow others to see our mistakes, our doubts, our humanity, without shame. And that openness is vulnerability. And far from weakness, it is the soil where trust grows. Epictetus taught that we cannot control how others see us, but we can control how honest we are with ourselves. When we are open about our struggles, we stop living in fear of being found out, and we free ourselves from the exhausting performance of constant perfection. And modern psychology confirms this ancient truth. Studies show that vulnerability deepens emotional bonds. When we share our fears and our failures, we give permission for others to do the same. Walls may keep us safe, but they also keep us alone. And here lies the quiet paradox of the heart. We spend years building walls to protect ourselves from pain, only to discover that love can only enter through the cracks. It is not our flawless image that others fall in love with. It is the courage to stand unmasked. So let yourself be seen. It's not only in your brightest moments, but in your darkest hours too. Because love that only exists for the perfect version of you is not love at all. And if you dare to step forward with your heart uncovered, you will learn that the right people will not run from your scars. They will trace them gently and call them beautiful. From a young age, we are taught to seek love outside of ourselves, to earn approval, to be chosen, to be told that we are enough. But the Stoics whisper a different truth. Love that depends on someone else's permission is not love at all. Epicurus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." He was not speaking of self-destruction, but of freedom. The freedom that comes when you no longer shape your worth around the shifting winds of other people's opinions. When we build love on the foundation of self-respect, rejection loses its power to break us. Criticism becomes feedback, not a verdict. An affection from others becomes a gift, not a necessity. Modern science agrees with this ancient wisdom. Studies in self-compassion show that people who treat themselves with kindness experience healthier relationships, because when you are already whole, you do not look to others to fill the emptiness. You look to share what you already have. And here lies the transformation. You stop chasing those who cannot see your worth. You stop bending yourself into shapes just to fit into someone's narrow view of love. Instead, you stand as you are and allow the right ones to come closer. When love begins within, it changes the way you give it away. It is no longer desperate, no longer hungry, no longer afraid. It becomes steady, generous, and unshaken by storms. So before you search for someone to love you, ask yourself, have I learned to love myself enough to let that love flow outward? Because when you do, you will find that the love you give and the love you receive are no longer different things. They never promised that love would last forever. They saw that all things are touched by time. And instead of fearing this truth, they embraced it. Because to love fully is to accept that one day we will have to let go. Epictetus taught, "Never say of anything that I have lost it, only that I have returned it." The people we love are not possessions. They are travelers who walk with us for a time, and then their path turns away, and we release them with gratitude for the distance we shared. Imperfection is not the enemy of love. It is the proof that love is alive. Cracks in a relationship are not always signs of failure. Sometimes they are the places where the light enters. Modern psychology calls this post-traumatic growth. When we endure loss and still choose to love again, we are changed. Our hearts become deeper, wiser, more open. We carry the memory of pain, but we also carry the strength it gave us. And here, this is the quiet gift of impermanence. Knowing that love will not last forever makes us hold it closer now. We notice the small moments, the glances, the shared laughter, the simple touch of a hand, because we know that one day they will live only in memory. So do not turn away from love because you fear loss. Do not demand perfection before you allow yourself to feel. The most beautiful love stories are not the ones that last forever, but the ones that leave us better than we were before they began. And when the time comes to say goodbye, let it be without bitterness. Because love, even when it ends, is never wasted. It shapes us, it teaches us, and it becomes part of the person we are still becoming. The Stoics never measured love in terms of profit or loss. For them, love was not a transaction, it was a virtue. It was something you gave. It's not because the other person was perfect or because they gave you exactly what you wanted, but because to love was the right thing to do. Seneca wrote, "To love all is a duty, to be loved by some is a gift." When love becomes a virtue, it is no longer chained to conditions. It does not demand perfection as payment. It is rooted in justice, kindness, and the desire to live in harmony with others. This is where many lose their way. We treat love like a contract, an exchange of approval, attention, and validation. But the Stoic path is different. It says love simply because you choose to, not because you are guaranteed a return. In modern psychology, this is close to the idea of unconditional positive regard. Loving someone without constantly judging whether they've earned it. This does not mean ignoring harm or tolerating abuse. It means that your love is not a currency, but a reflection of your character. And when love is a virtue, it frees you. You are no longer a prisoner of someone else's opinion. Your worth is not held hostage by their praise or their rejection. You become whole within yourself and generous without fear. This does not make love weaker, it makes it deeper, because now you are not loving to fill a void, but to share what overflows from within you. It is a love that cannot be taken away, because it is not built on needing to be perfect for someone else. So when you love, let it be from virtue. Let it be from the quiet strength of knowing that love is most beautiful when it is given freely, not as a bargain, but as a way of being. One of the hardest lessons, one of the most painful lessons in love is this: you cannot control another person's heart. You cannot force them to stay. You cannot make them see your worth. You cannot bend their soul to fit the image you hold in your mind. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. There are some things that are ours to command: our thoughts, our actions, our values. But there are other things like the feelings and choices of another person that are beyond our reach. And the more we try to control what is not ours, the more we suffer. Many of us believe that if we are perfect enough, pleasing enough, unflawed enough, they will love us forever. But this belief is a quiet kind of slavery. It chains our peace to something we can never truly hold. Because here's the harsh truth: you can't force someone to love you. You can't make someone stay with you against their will. And trying to do these things will only push them away. The more you try to change another person, the more you try to mold them into something they're not, the more you hurt them and the more you hurt yourself. True love begins when we let go, when we stop trying to sculpt another person's heart and start focusing on our own. When we give without the tight grip of expectation, when we trust that what is meant for us will remain. In psychology, this echoes the idea of secure attachment, the kind of love that does not demand constant proof, the kind that allows space for two individuals to breathe, to grow, and still choose each other freely. This is not easy. It means accepting that love is always a choice, never a guarantee. It means you might lose someone you deeply care for. But it also means you will no longer lose yourself in the process of holding on. So let go of the illusion of control. Tend to your mind, your values, your inner peace. Let love be something that flows between two free hearts. It's not something you try to keep in a cage. Amor fati, the love of fate, as the Stoics taught, not just to accept what happens, but to love it as if we had chosen it ourselves. In love, this means embracing every chapter, the beautiful beginnings, the uncertain middles, and even the endings. It is not about forcing yourself to enjoy pain. It is about seeing the larger picture and trusting that even the heartbreak carries within it seeds of wisdom. that even the loss shapes you into someone deeper, someone who has known pain and so can love with more truth. When you practice amorphati love, you stop asking, "Why me?" and you start asking, "What can this teach me?" You stop resisting the natural flow of relationships and you start walking alongside it with grace. In modern psychology, this mirrors the idea of radical acceptance, meeting reality as it is, without the constant war against what should have been. Because the more you fight what has already happened, the more you bleed from wounds that are trying to heal. Amorphati frees you from fear. When you are no longer afraid of endings, you are free to love more deeply in the present. You stop holding back out of fear of loss, because you know even loss can be part of the gift. This does not mean you become passive. It means you participate fully in love while accepting that some things will unfold beyond your control. It means you trust life enough to let it write some of the lines. So love with open hands, letting the moments come and let them go. Not with bitterness, but with gratitude. Because when you embrace amorphati in love, every ending becomes another way the heart learns to grow. In the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a simple truth. You cannot love deeply until you have learned to govern yourself. Self-mastery is not cold detachment. It is the quiet strength that allows you to stand steady in the storms of the heart. In love, self-mastery means you do not let anger spill into cruelty. You do not let fear turn into control. You do not let jealousy poison the trust you are trying to build. It is the art of responding with wisdom instead of reacting with impulse. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." In relationships, this means you cannot always control what your partner feels or does. But you can master your own thoughts, your own words, your own actions. And that mastery becomes the foundation of trust and respect. Self-mastery also means you do not seek wholeness in another person. You arrive in love already complete. It's not perfect, but grounded. It's not flawless, but aware of your shadows and willing to face them. This does not mean you suppress your feelings. It means you learn to carry them with grace, to speak without harming, to stand without breaking, to let love be a choice rather than a desperate need. In modern psychology, this mirrors emotional intelligence. The ability to notice your emotions, name them, and navigate them without letting them drive you off course. When two people bring this into a relationship, love becomes not a battlefield but a sanctuary. So master yourself, not to close your heart, but to protect it. Not to harden, but to hold with care. Because the deeper your self-mastery, the deeper your capacity to love without fear. We started this journey together, exploring the depths of Stoic wisdom and the quiet truths of love. We uncovered that love doesn't demand perfection. It finds beauty in imperfection. Love isn't about flawless execution. It's about the courage to show up as your authentic self, flaws and all. We've seen that resilience isn't a weakness. It's the strength that lets love grow. Vulnerability isn't a flaw. It's where connection begins. And the willingness to let go of control is the highest form of surrender, not because we're helpless, but because we trust the journey. We learn to dance with fate, not as enemies, but as partners. To find lessons in endings, not failures, and to hold our love with open hands, trusting life to carry it where it must go. We discovered the power of self-mastery, the kind that doesn't make us unfeeling, but unshakable. The kind that lets us love without clinging, to care deeply without losing ourselves. And now the truth remains. You are worthy of love not because you are flawless, but because you are real. Not because you always know what to do, but because you are willing to grow. So let this be your call to action. Be the one who loves with courage, who accepts and is accepted in imperfection, who understands that even when love ends, it leaves you richer than before. And when you close your eyes tonight, may you remember that you, exactly as you are enough to be loved.